Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why?
Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights.
Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, Chair of the Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click join. You'll be glad you did.
Someone once said, where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart. What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing in
Good evening and happy Mardi Gras. Fat Tuesday today. We get, I went to state committee last week and they gave away punchkis, so I stayed away from them today. I probably should have stayed away from them then too, but happy February 17th and to the Right Side podcast. And tonight's first guest is our Livingston County Undersheriff, Jason Pless. So welcome, Jason, to the Right Side, and we're glad you came.
Thanks, Deb. I appreciate you inviting me.
There, I'm going to kick you now. You looked at me.
Yeah.
That's our little joke. Yep. All right, so here we go. Greetings from Highland Park, Wayne County. Mark Ashley Price comes. He's my. It's about time you're back to normal, being my first guest again. Okay, well, let's talk about a different subject here. Chris Long said the last state committee meeting was pointless. There were some very silly individuals that were the committee. There were only four of themselves. Oh, I don't know that I would say that. It wasn't pointless, and I don't think they were necessarily silly. They have an issue that I think needed to be resolved. I just feel like they were trying to resolve the resolution was going to create a bigger problem than it would have resolved their issue, but it would have created a problem for everybody else. So they weren't being silly, but anyway, yes, happy Fat Tuesday to you, mister. So, okay. So, Jason is our undersheriff. But you're not new to the community. You're just new to that, or newish to that position. So, let's start by just first of all, give us like kind of your personal bio here. Where did you come from?
Sure, absolutely. Again, thanks for having me tonight. Happy Fat Tuesday. It's almost like a national holiday with the Punchkis for police, but you know, we always take advantage of that.
Sure.
Just to let you know a little bit about me, currently the undersheriff of the Livingston County Sheriff's Office. I've been a lifelong resident of Livingston County. I started here, I started in public safety as really a child, through Boy Scouts and then into the Explorer programs. The first thing that I did as a Explorer was got involved in the Pinckney Police Department Explorers program. So at 12, 13 years old, I was riding around in a police car on Sunday afternoons with a reserve part-time police officer, you know, just kind of checking things out. Super curious, really interested in it. And then the Explorer post kind of disbanded, right? So after that happened, through the Explorers again, there was another opportunity locally. Again, a lifelong resident of Livingston County. Did all my schooling in Pinckney. After that Explorer program at the police department broke up for a lot of reasons. The fire department decided to start one in Putnam Township Fire Department.
Nice.
So I went after that. At about 14 years old, I got on the Putnam Township Fire Department as an Explorer, and I carried that into 18 years old, went through my basic fire training. And about 18 years old, I was thinking, okay, fire department's where it's at. This is what I want to do. And Chief Smith at the time was a Pinckney police chief, and I knew him pretty well. And we had a fatal accident on M36, and he came up to me. And again, I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm directing traffic. He says, Jason, you can direct traffic really good. Do you want to be a reserve on the Pinckney Police Department? So I said, okay, I'll check it out, Chief. So got onto the reserve program at Pinckney Police. Did that all through college until I graduated from the police academy in 91. Worked for a couple of years at Pinckney Police Department in a part-time capacity. And then I went to I finished up my degree at Michigan State University, did the police academy as my internship. Still had to pay for credits at MSU, which was a little bit of a bummer, but got through that. And in 1993, I was hired by the Green Oak Township Police Department. And I served the Green Oak Township Police as a patrolman and a sergeant, a deputy chief, and the chief. I was there for 29 years. So that was a great experience, wonderful. I mean, a lot of people, you know, as a kid growing up, I had no idea where Green Oak was, you know, the Brighton side of things.
Sure.
My family's been in Livingston County since the 1800s. My grandfather had the door-to-door milk delivery business. So again, super familiar with Livingston, but I really didn't know a whole lot about Green Oak. Spent a career policing there. That was an amazing experience for anyone that knows Green Oak Township. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone with US 23, the roundabouts, all these different changes. Went to work in the barn there under Chief Brookins. He was the chief that hired me there.
Oh, wow.
Great mentor for me. Kind of helped set me on the path for my career. And again, loved Green Oak. Serving the citizens there, amazing career. Became the chief in 2014, and then I retired from Green Oak again after 29 years and came to the sheriff's office in 2022. So I've been with the Livingston County Sheriff's Office since 2022, and that's been an amazing experience, kind of a refresh of my career, a lot different. I never really had an appreciation for the jail as a municipal police officer. I just knew I had to fill out the form, hand the form to the jailer, and all the magic would happen behind the scenes. But now as the undersheriff, I have a lot more of an understanding of the wonderful work that the staff there does in the jail for us and keeping us safe. And for the people out there, they don't really realize, and I never really realized either, you know, the jail is the constitutional responsibility of the sheriff's office, and really the bigger piece of the sheriff's office. We have more employees there. We house, you know, up to 411 inmates, but our average population is around, you know, 250 to 300. It's been a great transition for me to go to the sheriff's office. Challenging, but it's been fun. So yeah.
Okay. Well, so tell me what and just let me go over. If I remember Mike telling us one time that the only real legal responsibility the sheriff department has is the jail. There is no responsibility to put deputies on the road or detectives or anything. I believe that is correct.
You are absolutely correct, Deb. The sheriff does have the responsibility of housing the jail. The only other thing that we have a constitutional responsibility to do is recover the dead bodies from water too. So yeah, that's also falls on us. So
fortunately, that's a very small part.
And with technology today, it's a little bit easier to do with the sonar and the drones and the underwater tools that are brought to the table. It's a little bit quicker to
not
recover.
Not a bunch of divers going down and feeling around in the
dark. They still do it.
Yeah, I know.
God bless them.
But I think they have like a head start with some technology. Well, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain to, every other place has a chief and a deputy chief, right? So here we have a sheriff and an undersheriff. What are the rules and that's just not something you hear all the time. So what does an undersheriff do? Or what do you do anyway?
So, the sheriff is the executive of the sheriff's office, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's the chief executive officer. My position is basically number 2. So almost like a vice president type circumstance. I am the feet and ears of the sheriff when he can't be in play. If he's on vacation or he has another detail that he's at or, training, what have you, then those responsibilities. And a lot of times we do things in conjunction. If he can make one event or there's a meeting that needs to be attended by the sheriff's office from the executive administration, we kind of split ways and cover that. So that's it. It's a great job. My responsibility as the undersheriff is really the administrative oversight for the field services division and the jail division, budget, policies, reviewing everything, kind of the final say before it goes off to the sheriff for, the approval. So
okay,
it's busy.
So what are the primary differences between what you did as chief in Green Oak to undersheriff for the sheriff? It's not the head guy, but the territory and the department is much bigger. So
I'll tell you that working in Livingston County. My entire career, I'm blessed. I mean, this is the best county in the world, I think, to work here and to play here and have my family here. It's public safety is awesome here. Great working relationships in police, fire, EMS. We all work well together here in the county. I guess the difference between, say, a chief and an undersheriff, the chief, you're kind of the head of the organization. Kind of overseeing a lot of the same things the sheriff would be, but as the undersheriff, I'm involved in a little bit more of the operational pieces of the sheriff's office. So again, overseeing detective bureau, the field services, the jail operations, if there's a use of force or if there's a death or there's, if something bad happens, just kind of checks and balance to make sure things are going smooth. Again, blessed at the sheriff's office. We have an amazing staff and, little bit different coming from Green Oak where we had about 20 guys. All told, the Livingston County Sheriff's Office, and a lot of people they kind of are shocked when they hear this number, but I think we're civilians sworn. We're at about 166 employees at the Sheriff's Office. So we're the biggest organization that the county has as far as staff and expense, quite honestly. But public safety is expensive, policing is expensive, housing inmates is expensive. But there's a lot going on for sure.
Well, and I every year I bring a commissioner in. This year I'll have Nick in the next couple of weeks to come in, and whoever the chair is will come in and really whether I'm at a political party like a GOP meeting or I'm here or whatever, I always get with the chair or bring whoever the chair is to talk about the budget. So I've seen your numbers and they're quite hefty, but I know you guys aren't sipping sipping pina coladas and eating bonbons over there. So you are, but it's a big thing. You got a huge jail. We got a big county. And the other thing is you're not skimpy on your service. So obviously Livingston County's happy we're fortunate we have you guys and the hard work you guys do. I want to make a quick announcement here before we go any farther. I'm seeing Mark's comments over here, but I'm not seeing others. And lots of times that means you're on the wrong channel. So if you're typing things over here and I'm not recognizing them, it's just because I'm not seeing them. You might want to go to the public Facebook page, Livingston County Republican Party, and make sure it's Michigan Livingston County Republican Party, and you can click the link there and get on. And if you go there, we can see your comments. But just make sure you pop in and say hi or something, and I'll recognize you just so we know that we're seeing it. Because sometimes I go to the Facebook page the next day. Okay.
There we go.
Oh, there's Tyler. Hello, Tyler. So I'll see it work. So all right. So Tyler's on the right channel. So sometimes I'll see the next day. I'll see all these comments that I never saw when they came up here. So you guys go to Livingston County Republican Party page and watch it, or you can go to my Facebook page and watch it. And as long as it's public, we should be able to see it here. So, all right. So let's get down to the question I think is on everybody in Livingston County's mind. We all know. Oh, here we go. Before we go any farther, welcome from Aaron Curry. You come very well recommended from circles I have asked. That's important. Not to mention your background. Well qualifies you to serve well. What is your long-term plan for your career, and how long can we expect to have you serving? Well, that's good. Let's sort of tease up where I was headed. So let's kind of answer that specific one in a second. But we all know Sheriff Mike Murphy is running for Senate. He is unopposed in the Republican side of things. I cannot imagine any lunatic filing here between now and April. So, he's gonna have no primary, and then a predictable easy win in November. So at that point, he goes off on rides on his happy little senatorial horse, and you're then you are, the way I understand it, you are going to seek the temporary appointment to fill out the rest of his, fill out 2 more years till the next election. Is that correct?
Yeah, Deb, I get this question a ton because
I'll bet you do.
what Sheriff Murphy is doing, and it's awesome that he's going to make that run for us and represent Livingston County and the surrounding areas too. That the district,
he'll be amazing.
The district is perfect for him, I think, and perfect candidate. Yeah, obviously I get the question a lot, like what's next? What's going to happen if Sheriff Murphy disappears? So if I'm fortunate enough to gain the appointment, I will finish out the remainder of the sheriff's 2 years. My intention is to then run for sheriff, take it term by term, right? I think I started really young. I don't know how old I look on a podcast, kind of getting new to this podcast stuff and the media stuff, but I think I still have a lot left in me, and I've worked in public safety long enough that I think it's my responsibility to make sure that if and when I'm done, that it's passed off to the next best person, and or the people can vote for a good person, whether it's internal or external, just preparing the office for the future, right? I mean, whether the operation, and who the leader will be, obviously the people get to decide that, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, so and I know this in when it comes to change and leadership I always say this when I used to teach Leadership Livingston. I would always say we all have our bag of tricks. We all have our little magic bag of tricks. And my bag of tricks is different than your bag of tricks as far as leadership goes. And we can go someplace and be a leader, and at some point we hit a ceiling. We've done everything. We've used every trick we have. And it could have taken us from here to here, but we're going to be here unless you get new fresh ideas that can kind of inch it up. But a new bag of tricks then can take it. Well, it can also take it down if it's, but if you can take it upwards. Tell me what your bag of tricks. Tell me where you might take, what areas can you grow the sheriff department, or can you develop the sheriff department, or what is a vision that you may have for the sheriff department that may enhance it a bit?
Replacing Sheriff Murphy is a difficult task, right?
Sure.
He's done an amazing job for the community.
Mm-hmm.
He's out there. And I think one of the things that I feel is my responsibility to do is continue with a lot of the things that he's done, right? The community outreach, the being in the schools, the SROs, those are all amazing things. Obviously, I'd love to have 100 deputies out there working the road every day, but obviously we know there's budgetary constraints to that. but there are some things we're looking at. Even now, we're preparing for
Okay.
the future in my role here now. We're looking at, we just obviously super cool first sheriff's office in the state of Michigan accredited. To achieve accreditation, we just got reaccredited, first sheriff's office to get the reaccreditation. There aren't many that have done it. A lot of local PDs have done it, but not sheriff's offices. One of the things that is kind of on our radar downrange is the Michigan Sheriff's Association is going to develop an accreditation program for the jails. And really what accreditation does is just make sure that your policies, procedures, your workflows are all in line, so you're doing the best thing for your agency and your community, right? So
Okay.
you're just best practices really. We're doing that now, but what the accreditation process really, I don't want to say forces you to do, but kind of provides that check and balance for you to do is just to, check in with yourself and make sure that things are solid and that you're doing what you promise you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you get busy, you forget, hey, we should be doing this, and we kind of let that slide because we saw a squirrel and we had to do this over here. So it really brings you back to center and allows you to move forward. Again, vision for the sheriff's office. I'll tell you, I have some amazing staff, from administration down to the newest field service deputy. I'm so impressed with this next generation. So professional, out there doing work every day and representing our office extremely well. I think we're really set up for the future with our office. My goal is just to kind of, again, let's be honest. I mean, I've been in the game for 35 years.
Sure.
Maybe 50. I don't know when it's going to be good, but I'm hoping that either someone taps me on the shoulder or somebody gives me the little poke and says, "Hey, man, time to go." When it's my time, like you said,
Sure,
when
sure.
I've reached that ceiling and it's time for a change.
Sure.
Hopefully, someone gives me that poke. But again, developing the younger generation and the next leaders of the office is really that's my highest priority for sure. To prepare the next for what's to come.
That's awesome. I've looked back, and as you were talking, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm also thinking about, what it was like under Sheriff DeBurton, and I remember, him, and I remember what Sheriff Holman did differently. He kind of took it a different direction, and then it was good, and then Bob Bazat took it in a different direction, and that was good, and then Mike took it in a different direction. So I'm just, like I said, I'm curious of what that might, and maybe it's too soon to really tell, but we'll check in with you from time to time, and you can kind of let us know as you see different visions. Yeah, I would like to add this to the jail. I'd like to add this to the, develop a better canine unit, or maybe the kids thing that you did.
To help me out.
You did. I don't know. You did it.
I did it.
How you got involved when you were a kid?
Explorers?
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
Super cool. One of the things that the sheriff's office is doing right now, it's exploratory,
Okay.
and I think we're going to be able to pull it off. If you're familiar with the fire academy at the Howell High School, we are starting a law enforcement academy, policing academy at the Howell High School.
There you go.
Again, super preliminary. We're just
Right.
gauging interest right now. The initial interest is kind of off the charts.
I
We're
bet
like, whoa,
it
50
is.
kids,
I'll
what
bet
are we
it
going to do
is.
with these kids? And we're going to kind of start out small, maybe 20 kids or so, maybe 15, 20 kids, and go down that road. I mean, again, that's where you win. Myself,
Absolutely.
a
Absolutely.
lot of the people that are in this job
Mhm.
had that person or that experience as a younger
Sure.
child that kind of set the path. For me, one of the opportunities was a counselor bringing me down to the office saying, "Hey, I know you're in this Explorer program. What do you think about going to law enforcement career camp sponsored by the Kiwanis and the JCs and the state
Nice.
police?" And 2 weeks at 14 years old at what was the Fresh Air Camp, U of M Fresh Air Camp down off of Doyle Road. Now it's different, but that kind of set the tone. I'm gonna be the police.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. That's where you win.
Awesome.
You really.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have. You're starting something like that to then generate.
So more to come on that. But,
Good.
Hopefully we can be super successful with that and do some great stuff to kind of bolster the future of policing in Livingston County. And if we get one or two out of there that can either work in our jail or
Sure.
or come to the road eventually.
Do you have reserves like like what you did?
We don't. We do have an Explorer program.
Okay.
It's pretty good program. The kids go and compete down in Battle Creek every year. They work super hard. I'm a little biased. Livingston County kind of rocks it at the Explorer competitions. I mean, we're shooting good. They're doing their arrests, their scenario-based trainings.
Oh, wow.
Our Explorers are killing it and have for years. And a little shout out to the leaders of the Explorer group, Sergeant Neff and one of the couple new deputies, Toledo and Hurley. They've kind of taken up the torch to help keep that program successful. But it's a great program, and hopefully we can retain some of those people in the long term and have them become, one of us.
Awesome.
They already are, but move on.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Awesome. All right, we got another question here. Laura Wilkerson. Our prosecutor's office in Carroll Henry does an incredible job supporting law enforcement and holding offenders accountable. From your perspective, what is the biggest public safety concern right now, and what are the biggest public safety concerns right now, and what trend are you watching?
We talk about it a ton in the office, and Livingston County, pretty safe place to live. But, if you dip into the Scanner Moms groups or you kind of follow the media out there, there's a lot of dark stuff that happens in our county. And
is there?
It's concerning. One of the biggest trends is, fraud. It's a lot easier to commit fraud than to rob a bank. And there are so many people being taken advantage of on a day-to-day basis with fraud in the elderly population and the young population. And again, the internet is a playground for the thieves to make contact with people, make them think that something is not real. And, we take that incredibly seriously. Sometimes we can chase a case and it ends up in, South America, Africa, somewhere off in another shore, that they're coming here virtually and committing crimes against our public. And, those kind of crimes really infuriate us. And again, we're trying to do the best we can and take those seriously and document them. And, just kind of keep putting the word out. It seems like every week we're getting a call of someone that's been a victim of, tens of thousands of dollars, or hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes. And, hey, I got a phone call from Under Sheriff Pless, and he said if I don't show up in court and bring the bond money and Green Dot gift cards that, I'm going to be in trouble. And it's crazy how complex these people have become in their workflow to convince people. And it's a psychological warfare, really, that they prey on the victims and hey, bring your gift cards to the court and turn them into the deputy working the door.
Right.
And people do it, because if I bring this gift card to the court and I hand it off to the deputy, it must be legitimate. It's just terrible.
I get hacked. It's a joke. It's a running joke because it used to be Rob when Rob was chair, and now I get hacked once every other month, and it's somebody gets an email from me saying, I'm in a meeting right now, don't call, but need a favor. Can you pick up 10 $100 gift cards and for me, and virtual ones? And and it's sad because one of the party members kind of texted me and said, are you asking for this? And I said, oh my God, no. And he goes, I just got taken for $2,000. I got to call my bank. Anyway, it's terrible. So, so right now there is the nation's focus is on ICE. Mm-hmm. What are your, can you comment on that? I don't even know I don't even know the question to ask you. Just what?
So the common questions that are out there that, the sheriff and I, and even my staff, deal with every day is, are you guys working in conjunction with ICE? And again, we haven't signed any special agreement with ICE. We're just doing our job. Illegal is illegal, right? If our deputies run into somebody, and really this county kind of county-wide, all the police in Livingston County have this same take on ICE or on illegal behavior, is if somebody's out there committing a crime and they're here illegally, they're going to be brought to the jail, and what happens, right? Illegal behavior is illegal behavior. If you're going to be criminally charged, we'll criminally charge you local. If you're here illegally, then you're going to end up being deported. We're going to cooperate with them. Are we in the schools, or is ICE, going to the shopping centers in Livingston County? Not happening, folks. It's really not happening. Again, I think we just ran the stat last year. We were asked to keep track of how many illegal people we interacted with in law enforcement in Livingston County by our Board of Commissioners. And I think the number was 24, if I remember right. Last year were actually undocumented here with no paperwork, illegally. Not a big number, but of that 24, most of them were initiated by traffic stops, for driving behavior or some kind of traffic violation that and it resulted in a misdemeanor where they were arrested, drunk driving, what have you. But there was a couple in there that had committed crimes against our community members, and we're not gonna have that here in Livingston. We're gonna take that seriously. We're not gonna turn the other way, because again, illegal's illegal.
So, question here. So we have, I heard you say when they commit a crime, there is I guess a school of thought that just says being here illegally is a crime in and of itself. So if you catch somebody running a stop sign and you pull them over and you find out they're not here legally, do you take them, or do
It's
you just
documented, and then
Okay.
Again, usually if they're brought to our jail, there's a local criminal offense. But if they are here undocumented, we report that out to, we have partners at HSI, Homeland Security
Okay,
Investigations,
okay.
because who knows what they may be looking at too,
Sure,
right?
sure,
There may be
just
some
because-
other
yeah, just
larger
bec- yeah.
investigation that kind of opens the door to some
Sure.
other illegal
Okay,
behavior.
so you do report them somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it could be that they just ran a stop sign here, big deal, but they could have been on their way from killing somebody over there.
And
You
most
don't
of
know.
those interactions, if they're here illegally, now, do they have a Michigan driver's license? Do they have a Texas driver's license?
Sure.
Are they licensed? Is there some other illegal behavior?
Right.
Oftentimes, if they're here undocumented, then they're not following the rules elsewhere either.
Right, right.
Getting their license, etc.
Okay. Okay. So here comes a question from Kelly Powell. Does LCP, I'm assuming you mean Livingston County Sheriff Department, have any word into MDOT on how they do the lane switching during construction on 23 or 96? It's so dangerous. I don't know if you guys have any input on that, do you?
So we complain.
Okay.
The state of Michigan does what the state of Michigan does as far as traffic direction, flow, construction. Anything that's unsafe or dangerous, we bring to the attention to our local partners at Livingston County Road Commission, because sometimes some of the MDOT projects bleed into county roads.
Right.
And then also we report them to MDOT. Just kind of, Green Oak Township dealing with the construction of US 23.
Oh my God, that must have been horrible.
Being from there, the
Sure.
historical crashes were always kind of over and above what the norm should be. But, this last few years, the Green Oak Township Police Department kind of got it handed to them with the traffic crashes. And, a lot of it is, the inattention, the driving too fast, following too close, those types of behaviors. But again, sometimes, they'll throw a little new construction angle at you and that people aren't familiar with, and people are driving complacent like it's the same road they drove on yesterday, and it's all of a sudden magically different, similar to what's going on with the Grand River 96 project now. You kind of get into that area, you really asking drivers to pay attention, and not be complacent or on their phones when they're navigating those areas. But yeah, if there's a problem or, feedback, again, EMS reports to them, fire reports to them, we report to them if there's anything we can do to improve those areas. And again, we always listen if someone calls in with a concern, for sure.
No, that's good. So let me ask you this. What is your personal biggest challenge? Not the Sheriff's Department biggest challenge, but your biggest challenge in your current role? And you can have more than one if you need to.
I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but I guess for me,
adjustment maybe
personally, an adjustment to looking down range on what it looks like to maybe run the sheriff's office, right? It's a big responsibility. It's kind of weighing on me, a little bit. I love the opportunity, but having a lot of conversations. My wife's on board with me. That's huge. Jessica, 30 years, I got to be on board with her, and she's supportive. My family's supportive, and that's huge. That's the personal challenge that's kind of facing me. Full disclosure, the office of sheriff, even my office as undersheriff, the appointed undersheriff, it's a little more involved in the community than a lot of other positions because we have to be out there listening and involved and hearing what the people are saying. Just
Sure.
like, the questions coming in here tonight, we're listening. I will tell you, the amazing thing about the sheriff's office is if you call us, we're going to answer the call and we're going to listen. It's not like calling, some other places in government that you never get a call or you get, the eternal voicemail spin, what have you. We answer the call, we listen. Now we may not agree. It may be a difference of opinion and we'll just agree to disagree sometimes, but we listen. And sometimes I think, hey, maybe they're right, or maybe they're wrong. But we're always listening, and same with the deputies too, right? If you call, you're going to get a call back. That's kind of the way the office is, because we want to know.
Well, I'm kind of glad that it's weighing on you a little bit because I think it would be, I don't think you do a good job when you don't take things something that big seriously. So if it was just a big deal, that would probably be scary to the people watching. Well, is there what's on your wish list for the sheriff's department? I would like to see. We're really probing here.
Yeah. So again, budgetary constraints.
Okay.
We try and do the best we can. Kind of a balance between technology. One of the things that's really changed for me in law enforcement, when I used to get into a car 30 years ago, log on, log off with a pen, paper, flashlight, clipboard, off we go. Now we have cameras, in-car computers, drones, just so much technology. AI is kind of on the horizon too, right? So embracing the technology, but yet keeping a balance and not letting the technology kind of confuse the mission, right? So still keeping in touch with the public one-on-one. Kind of old school. I really don't want AI answering our phones. I want to put you in touch with a human.
Sure. And
I really don't want a robot showing up at your house to take your report. But not that that's going to happen anytime soon. But technology is technology, and it is a little bit. Some of it's cost prohibitive. Some of the technologies is out there. A little bit frustrating with that because you want to keep your staff current and the best tools in your workers' hands so they can do the job and kind of streamline things and be super productive. And some of the technology has made us a lot better. I mean, just think of the hours that are saved by like drone technology, right? Before, pounding the woods or looking for a bad guy or, going into a house with a team instead of sending a drone in. It's so much safer. You have to embrace technology, but again, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it does. What so I saw actually my husband did an interview on WHMI regarding kind of the year end and they were for the commission, and he was talking about kind of the stuff that everybody had done, that the commission had done, but he'd also talked about this year having a whole bunch of new radio towers and a bunch of equipment coming away. How is that going to affect the sheriff department? I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so
I was only kind of half listening.
Yeah. So as the undersheriff, I'm on that committee.
Okay.
It's the radio communications project that Livingston County has kind of taken on. Historically, Livingston County has had one 800 megahertz radio tower in the county since 1996 when we went digital, if you will, onto the system. There's a lot of coverage issues and, it really boils down to public safety worker issues, safety issues with public safety and communication. So the county has decided to make it a priority to get this tower project done. I'm very thankful for that. The long term of it is over the next couple of years, we're going to develop a 5-site simulcast 800 megahertz system to improve public safety communications for all police, fire, EMS in the county. It's a huge lift. It's a multi-million-dollar project, but it's long overdue, and we're going to do it the right way so public safety is kept safe and can communicate.
I heard that, and of course Jay's tagline to that, he was talking about it, and what I heard was the tagline saying, and we're doing all that without raising taxes.
Right.
Because we're Republicans.
Right,
okay.
Absolutely.
We do that. Well, Jennifer, Aaron said, I say this every time, but you folks are great public service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you for that comment. So anything else you want us to know, or we should know, or any other exciting things on the horizon that might be good to watch?
No, just, again, as always, our deputies are incredibly approachable. If you see them out and about, say hi, ask your questions, give us a shout if you need something. We're always here to serve you. I think, we just had a lot of training, came off a big training day today for field services, training our guys the best we can. And they're all rock stars. I mean, we are very well represented in the community, and the deputies are so professional out there and just doing great work every day.
Awesome.
Keeping safe. So
got another question coming in. Roland, since there seems to be an increase in car pursuits across Livingston County, is the sheriff department looking to acquire a grapper? What's a grapper?
So a grappler is something.
Oh, that's what I thought it was a grappler.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Livonia PD has one. It's not in the budget for a grappler. One of the things that a lot of people.
Is that the thing that you shoot and it grabs onto something?
It actually deploys from the front of a vehicle, almost like a push bumper that shoots out this thing that. If you see the Livonia video, it rips out the rear axle of their car, which, that's a win for police, but it stops the pursuit.
Right.
No, we've talked about it. There's some complexities with it. Again, with needing to, in a city, probably a good idea. In a county like ours, you'd have to have that on the road 24 hours a day, and probably have to have 6 or 7 grapplers out there running around. And then, the issue of catching up to the bad guy once the pursuit is initiated. Of course, it's always going to be the non-grappler car that initiates the pursuit. But again, we're pretty fortunate here, even though it plays out a lot on social media. I think last year about 30 pursuits. What a lot of people don't know is that our deputies are really good at terminating them for safety reasons. Before they get to a pursuit level, I think we terminated about 60% of our pursuits last year that were initiated.
Wait, terminate might mean something different.
Oh,
for
yeah.
The rest of
No,
us.
like terminate, like don't stop chasing them, just let them go, because the risk benefits kind of becomes a public safety danger. But usually when we're chasing the bad guys, it's for a really good reason. Like, some of our videos that you've seen out, guys are chucking guns out of the window, they've committed crimes.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna chase you. We don't like bad things happening in our county, and we don't like really crime to go unaccounted for.
But,
yet public safety is always paramount.
Well, if you're not doing something dumb, why would you run? I mean,
yeah, we hope everyone stops.
no, I mean, but when you say like you terminate them before they get bad, what type cases then get terminated before you chase them?
If it's a traffic violation, like a basic traffic violation, someone ran a stop sign
and then they're gonna run.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yikes.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully everyone stops.
I feel like they're running because they've got big time drugs in their or something.
Not always.
No,
I mean, the word's kind of out there that sometimes, and you see what's on the internet and social media. People think it's fun to run from the police, but in Livingston County, we're probably gonna chase you for a minute. Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, no, we're gonna chase you and we're gonna get you. That's
Right.
even better without a grappler.
Right.
All right. So, well, once again, Under Sheriff Plus, thank you for taking the time to come visit us.
Sure.
We are, we'd love to, kind of stay in touch with you,
for sure.
and come check in with us every so often. Maybe I'll reach out to you if something, interesting happens or scary or rumors or whatever. Maybe you can come help us beat those down before they get anywhere. So. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick commercial here, and then we're going to come back with Justin, and guess what? Apparently we have a tyrant on the bench. We're going to hear more. My phone blew up after Mr. Williams was on last week. So we are going to have some stories here to tell you. Got another one here in just a minute.
Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join? The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why? Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights. Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, chair of Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click join. You'll be glad you did.
Yikes. Hi, welcome back, and we have Justin Frederick, correct? Did I say that correct?
Yep.
And Justin is, I'll let you tell me. Justin, tell us where you're from and give us a little kind of bio about you.
I'm from Howell Township. Lived here now 9 years. I think it's going on 9 years this summer.
Okay.
It's been great up to this point that we had to deal with our court system.
Oh, okay. Well, we had, I don't know if you saw, did you get a chance to watch Mr. Williams's ordeal last week?
I caught the very end of it. I was just getting home from hockey practice with my son and was charming in and caught it. And then I started writing you to say, hey, I got one experience to share with you.
Well, good. Well, then let's start. Well, let's start here. You live in Howell Township, and you're there with your wife and son, or just your son? Or?
My wife and two kids.
Two kids. Okay.
I had a daughter 9 years old and a son 6-year-old.
Okay. All right. Well, so then tell us what was the issue that brought you to the courts?
I only, legally wise, I can't get in too much depth. We made agreements in mediation that Longsworth mandated.
Okay.
But what I can say, before we got to Longsworth, our case was in front of McGimney, which he was phenomenal.
Okay.
We didn't deal with him a whole lot, as we had an attorney the whole time, so she was the one representing us, going to the hearings and stuff. And the one that we did have to go to was a show cause hearing, because the individuals did violate the restraining order that was put on them.
Can you tell us about the case at all?
I have to be very, very careful.
Okay, all right.
I would have to read over everything again just to kind of be.
Are we talking like a property dispute? Or are we talking about?
It
give me like the idea of what kind of case it is.
It was harassment.
Okay.
It was
good.
defacing me on a billboard sign,
Got
calling
it.
me a cat killer and a pedophile.
Aye.
Which they have no facts of or no truth to whatsoever.
Okay.
And then it went into before that, it was 3 cameras put up on the property line, invading our privacy. Every attempt we try to take, from our lawyer telling us, hey, put something up on your property to block the cameras, to see if they move them. And sure enough, 2.5 hours later, they would move them up and around any attempts that we tried to put there.
Wow.
For our kids' safety, obviously, having a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, you try, as a dad, you try to protect them, right?
Sure.
And it was just strange, wild behavior. And the gentleman that's involved and the wife, I mean, he's 50 years old, so he's 10 years older than me. But come on, we all know kids are involved. Grow up, mind your own business. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to talk to him. He told me to F off. And then that's where I texted him, hey, I run a business. I don't appreciate getting bad mouthed or, slandered. I'd appreciate a stop. And that's where it just went off the rails after that. where he thinks he can do whatever he wants, freedom of speech. I said, no, it's actually called slander and defamation of character. And then we hired a lawyer, and I don't want to get into too much depth because I can get going here, because this has been a very disturbing and very stressful 2 years, about year and a half of our life.
Okay.
And anyways, while we're in front of McGivney, we were granted a temporary restraining order on these individuals, and the cameras had to come down immediately. Well, they violated that immediately. The cameras stayed up for a month beyond that. So we filed a motion to show cause. That our attorney actually took care of that. And so that hearing got set up for later on. It was actually after our final court date with McGivney. So anyways, as we got down to the final court hearings, obviously there was more motions. This is a very long, see the way our courts work, very slow. But these individuals just kept on. I mean, it was every day. It was all the time. It's like really recording us nonstop. And we're on 3/4 of an acre. It's not like we're in Amber Oak sub where you're stacked on top of each other.
Right.
We're on 3/4 of an acre. Mind your own business. Look your way. We spend thousands of dollars on green giants, put them down each side of our property lines. We're trying to. I built walls. I mean, it's gone insane the amount of money I spent for our safety and protection. And McGivney's seen all that. He's seen through their bull. That he'd seen that. He granted us based on proof and evidence. Now, this is where the court system failed us, and I still aggravated and pissed to date because of it, but we're trying to move on with these new agreements and stuff we were forced to take by Longsworth and doing mediation. So the way it worked is our case actually ended because these individuals, an hour and a half before our final court hearing, they made a settlement agreement. We accepted it. That was to take on a permanent injunction and pay our lawyer fees of $6,500. We thought we were going to move on. We all going to get a fresh start and move on. It got worse. And so at that point, our lawyer was done. We thought our case was done. So then they started doing, things kind of settled down for a moment. And then it was right back to, I was getting tailgated on the road by this individual, getting flicked off. We had video of all this stuff when it went in front of Longsworth. And she didn't want to see none of it. She didn't care to see it. But so how we got in front of Longsworth, I don't want to skip out on that. So when we filed the show cause motions for the over 10 violations on the permanent injunction, our case got transferred because his caseload was too busy. So it got transferred to Longsworth. And at the same time that happened on social media, I was seeing all this stuff about Longsworth, her corruptness in the courtroom or whatever it was, her attitude, people that have restraining orders or have this, she's taken them away, even though people have the proof and evidence. And I'm like, wow, this sucks. So I'm writing our lawyer. Do we have to be worried about this? Because when we just spent $6,500, we thought the case was over, but they kept on violating. We're 9 months in to after our final hearing when they remember they made these agreements. This is what they offered that we accepted.
Oh, so they came up with the offer.
They came up with the offer an hour and a half before we were supposed to go to our final hearing. So we're like, okay, let's do this. Let's be done with it. And that's where, like I said, the violations after everything was signed and everything was good, then the violations just kept stacking up. They started getting other people involved, other neighbors, and it started, we called it the triangle. I don't know if I can say this on here, but the triangle of hell. Okay. And it was a nightmare. So now you have it on every angle of where you live, these people trying to get involved in other people's legal problems. So like I said, what adults get involved in other people's legal problems, especially if they were telling them the truth of what was happening, which, they weren't. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, so when our case, we went in to find out for these show cause motions, we found out, we're like, wait, why is the courtroom not open? It's 9:00 in the morning. Why is it not open? Well, we never got the alert or the notification that our case was transferred to Longsworth. And I panicked at that point.
Yeah.
Because we have a year's worth of case in front of McGivney, and he knew. He judged based on law and order. And the one time we were in front of him, we got to see exactly what our lawyer's seen. He kept on. He puts down his glasses, looked right at the individuals, and said, "This is a very serious matter." And I mean, he said it through the transcripts. We have the proof of everything.
I hear that time and time again about him.
I mean, he from what we heard and what our lawyer always told us. So the one time when he granted the temporary injunction and restraining order, we weren't there. Okay. So now that we're going in front of Longsworth, the way I work, I grew up with a learning disability, so I got to understand what was said, what happened at courtroom, so I know when I go in front of Longsworth, we got our story straight, not just from our attorney, but from the actual transcripts. The transcripts from McGivney's mouth was, he asked our attorney, "Is there anything else you want to add to, to the case or anything?" She says, "No, Your Honor. Everything that we submitted is more than significant." And he goes, based on that, he goes, "Mr. Frederick has submitted more evidence, proof and evidence that this is based off of. And because of the proof and evidence, the harassment is continuing and only getting worse."
Oh my God.
And highlight that, only getting worse, right? So this got us our temporary injunction. And then when it got settled, they offered that, take on the permanent injunction and pay our lawyer fees. Well, now fast forward, they violated all that stuff and kept violating. So we started filing motions to show cause for the violations. We went 9 months, I think it was, and no payment yet. No payment yet. And that's where we started. Okay, that's one violation right there. You didn't pay per your agreement that you agreed to McGivney. Well, now our case is in front of Longsworth. The first day we go in, it wasn't that bad of an experience. Right, you're going to her courthouse. You're nervous because you're reading all this stuff online about her. And I got my kids. My kids are my everything to protect them. And any dad or any mom should protect their kids with everything, right? And when you have people preying on your family and you have the proof to show it, and McGivney already ruled on this, and when you're going in front of another judge, you're nervous. And then you're reading all this negativity about what she's doing, what she's taking away. You're like, are we going to lose this restraining order that we deserve and we got fairly based off of proof and evidence? Well, that day was kind of and it sucked because our son, first hockey game I missed in my son's hockey. I'm a goalie coach on his team, so it's one of those things where I'm responsible for him and another kid. I missed their game because we had to go to this freaking hearing again when it was supposed to be over. And once we got done with that court date, all that is basically to set a show cause hearing. So we were there for maybe 15 minutes. And she was really nice. She asked us about, what team does he play for? Where's he playing? I go, okay, maybe she sees into this gimmick of what's going on. She read McGivney's notes, all this stuff. And that was the end of the niceness of her. So we dealt with her again. I dealt with her because another neighbor got involved in their issue, and he was trying to get a PPO on me. And just randomly, no basis, no grounds. Our lawyer said the same thing. And it was just this stir up of they were trying to attack us. And I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't care.
And I know I don't want to push you to talk to something that you don't understand, but we're lost at like what the original problem was. Like, why are they putting up? What were they hoping to find with cameras? Like
that. To be honest, we don't know.
We don't randomly decide. How did they harass you before the cameras?
They were pissed off and bothered because I have security cameras on my home, but they're all in our right place. All my cameras were approved by 2 lawyers throughout our entire case.
And they're just looking at your house.
They're going right down into
your property.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
So they go right down into the corner. So the one that they didn't like was the one that watches our pool area, and it goes right down into the pool. And you can see on the camera, it's put all the way. Say this is the wall of my house. You can literally see the wall of my house because it's in the corner, and this part of the house goes out this way.
Okay.
And it goes right out to the corner. We proved that in court with McGivney.
But it doesn't go onto their property.
It shows their property way in the corner.
Okay.
Faintly in the corner.
Right.
But they said when we did mediation, well, if you zoom in on the picture really good, you can see our whole backyard. Well, I said, why do you think I put a bunch of trees in? I don't want to see your backyard. I don't care what you guys are doing. I offered to show him my cameras. Again, he told me to F off. Well, if I can't talk to you, then I'm going to text you, and
right.
that's
kind of
where
started it. Okay, because that's where I was lost. I was wondering what. So the cameras were then to I'm going to show you. What
basically,
like.
I'm going to show you. But
now
before that,
he
was going around telling people I poisoned his cat. Why? I don't know, because my family, we are completely organic. We live off kind of the earth and land, and
Okay.
my wife does not let any chemicals in the house whatsoever. I mean,
Wow.
right now she's trying new toothpaste and stuff to be better with our teeth and not be chemicals in it, you know,
Oh
and
my
stuff.
God.
So,
Does she know my husband?
but so it's just one of those things where you
Okay.
sit here and you're going, trust me, there were so many nights and days I lost a ton of sleep. If you could
Sure.
imagine, you're like, what is wrong with these people? And you're watching them do this. Like, we were literally physically outside after I put up all the trees on the property line and around the pool. And
Okay.
I was going to, now the pool's not up at that point. I was getting ready to put the pool back up, but I started digging a hole so I can
Sure.
drop the pool down a
Sure.
little further in the
Sure.
ground, behind the tree so they can't watch us.
Right.
So now when I did this, they took a camera that was way over and moved it literally in the same moment up and over all our trees.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, I was inside of the skidster, so I didn't see this happen. My wife goes, as I stopped, because she was recording this for my brother in Tennessee, because he wanted to see this pool build I had. I was
Wow.
going to do a swimming natural pond type thing, right? And that all got burst with
Okay.
$6,500 in lawyer fees and all that
Now
stuff.
we got it. Okay, so I was really having trouble figuring out what the story was. Okay, back to Longsworth then.
So that got us, that's the situation that got us in the court.
Okay.
And so when it got to Longsworth, and once I got in front of her with the other person that got involved in the situation that tried to get a PPO on me for no reason whatsoever, that was mainly because I put complaints on his home to the township. How do I get a PPO for putting complaints in like I'm allowed through the township? So anyways, he filed those. They tried to get Longsworth because our main case got moved to her. So they were trying to
Okay.
get a bad taste
Sure.
in Longsworth's
Sure.
mouth, say, look, he's this or he's that. And I said, how is this? So his PPO got denied originally with a hearing. Well, I showed up with, a bunch of information that shows he's the one going around threatening and, doing this to Bob
Right,
Wilson, to all
right.
these other people, and myself. He's the one that needs it. He's trespassing other
What
neighbors.
is in
probably.
the water in Howell Township?
That's what I was
God.
saying. Because so
I shouldn't say that. I grew up there.
hey,
Anyway,
that's
yeah.
what we say. It's literally
Yeah.
crazy what we have endured over the last year and a half.
What part of Howell Township are you in? Like what?
We're
I don't need your address. But
we're
like,
about, put it this way, we're 3 minutes from Howell Township, the building itself.
so you're off of Byron
We're
there?
we're off
Okay.
of Oak Grove.
Oak Grove. Okay. All right.
So
Here's Laura. Howell Township. LOL. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. What?
yeah, nightmare.
She's also there. Yes.
Yes, it's been a nightmare there.
Yes. So
That's a whole nother story.
yeah.
Another whole
Oh
podcast.
yeah. That's we had a podcast on that one
Yup,
time.
yes, you did.
That's fun. Anyway, so all right. So if we're gonna sum up what Longsworth did, she didn't listen. She ignored the prior evidence. She didn't listen. She made. She sounds like she just like made you start from scratch, but
That's basically
kinda
the way
had
my
like
wife and I
she
felt.
had like an attitude.
So basically, the day I showed up for the PPO one, same thing. I was not rude to her. I wasn't disrespectful. That's not the person I am. My business shows that. And when she asked me a question, normally when someone asks you a question and pauses, that's your time to answer, right?
Mhm.
I go to answer and she goes, Mr. Frederick, that's enough. You don't ever interrupt me in my courtroom. I think what I have to say is important. I said, ma'am, Your Honor, I didn't try to disrespect you or your courtroom. You asked me the question. I was just answering it. And I mean, and that's basically where I said, this is not going to go
Oh
well.
Lord.
So in that case, she demanded mediation as well, even though she denied the PPOs. So again, our lawyer said the same thing. Why does she keep on prolonging? If you're there for something that doesn't have no evidence towards you or against you, why is she pushing for this other stuff? And as I entered my evidence, then this other gentleman that was involved in that one goes to his attorney, says, let's do mediation. So clearly a restraining order wasn't that important at this time. So why? You filed it. So now we had to do a mediation through him. Now, the next week, we were in front of Longsworth again for our main case. Well, again, she tried to accuse me of interrupting her again, and now my wife got to see it. She goes, you didn't interrupt her at all. So it was the same attitude again this time. And this time, though, she obviously clearly didn't read anything McGivney said. She didn't follow acknowledged the fact that there was any permanent injunctions on these people, and they violated it over 10 times. They did not pay per their agreement, but yet she treated us like we were wrong.
Wow.
She did a recess. She goes, I tell you guys to go out there and read what mediation can do. And well, why are we doing mediation, Your Honor, on something that they already offered and we accepted? Isn't that what mediation does? Like, we are kind of lost. And my wife and I asked intentionally, so it's on transcripts to show the judicial board, we kept asking Longsworth, Your Honor, we're a little lost. We have these permanent injunctions in place.
That everybody agreed to.
Yeah, that they agreed to, they offered us. And before that, McGivney gave a permanent or a temporary restraining order based off of facts and evidence. But yet now, and he always said how important this is. But then Longsworth goes, this is really petty. Well, I don't know. My family and my kids' safety isn't petty. Someone preying on my family, tailgating me down the road is not petty. Maybe to Longsworth it is. But my family and my children's safety is priority, and it's not petty to me.
You know, Judge Burris was a circuit court judge here for many years. And I remember he had, because I used to teach a class called Leadership Livingston, and one of the sessions was about the courts. And Judge Burris would always speak to the group. And he picked up a sign that he had on his bench that only he could see. And it says, be nice. And it was a reminder that everybody that comes in, they're coming in with an issue. They're scared of something. They don't want something. They do want something. They were cheated. They did whatever. And the last thing they needed was rudeness or any kind of meanness. So, you know, we had kind of a judge before that had a tyrannical side, and it wasn't stopped for years. And so I'm hearing the same thing, that I don't like it. So I just want to catch up on some of these statements here. Jennifer Aaron was talking about Under Sheriff Pless, great man, transparent, and what is needed. Jennifer, do me a favor, type in here, where are you from? What county are you from? Here comes Mark for you. Mr. Frederick, thank you for being on the podcast. Tell your story. I think you doing so will help others. Well, I hope so. I believe you're right, Mark, because like I said, I've had a couple people reach out. Randy Guppy just popped in to plug Bunny's Fabulous Seasoning. Dinner was delicious with the spice mix. Carry on. I have some for you before you leave too. Don't let me forget to give you. Well, I'm glad you liked it, Randy. What'd you put it on? Okay, so actually, while we're talking about Bunny's Fabulous Seasoning, and before the show started, Jason Pless got here early, and he had come to a show that I had done, and he tasted the chili that I was selling, and he bought a packet of the chili mix, and he was telling me at the time he was going to enter it in the sheriff department cook-off. So he told me just a minute, he goes, by the way, I won first place with your chili. So, all right, there we go. Nice. So good. I'm glad you like it, Randy. All right, Mr. Frederick, please be active in the Livingston County GOP. We need great individuals like you in the party, plus you being great hands as Miss Deb is amazing. Okay, thank you, Mark. Yes, Justin is absolutely welcome. Howdy, Livingston. Love Kalamazoo. Hi, Jason. How are you? And then we have Laura laughing about Howell Township. Okay, we're caught up now. All right. So what? Wow. So do you have more in front of her? Are you still in the middle of this case? Or?
Well, like I said, she mandated mediation when we didn't understand what mediation was going to get out of it. And as we already had an agreement between the two parties.
Especially designed by them that you just accepted. That's
exactly.
Amazing.
You offered this, we accepted it, and now we're doing it all over again, spending more money, but yet they keep saying
Did you have a lawyer with you when you're arguing this stuff? Or were you by yourselves?
We, unfortunately, we were representing ourselves through what we thought was the motion to show cause, because like our attorney said, try to save your money at this point because you're in front of McGivney. He knows this case. And then when it got transferred, she was so booked up, there's no way to get her back in the loop. The day that we were going to do the mediation, we were trying to get her back in so we didn't lose everything, which we pretty much did.
You mean her meaning the judge or her meaning
our
your
attorney?
Who's your attorney?
I don't know if I should say or
all
not,
right.
since
That's
I don't
well,
have
it's
her
public.
permission.
It's public record.
Yeah.
FYI, so it.
I get that without
Anyway,
permission. I just want to
we
respect
don't need
that.
we don't need to do that. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so are you going back to an attorney? Are you sticking this by yourself?
Well,
or?
we're
I am
still
hearing.
talking.
I'm hearing she's like that whether you have an attorney or not. So
Yeah, well,
I'm
from-
wondering, because I mean, my husband's been an attorney here for 50 years. I don't know. I just don't get where these attorneys are allowing this to happen.
That's what I don't understand, because after mediation, we have talked to, and just before mediation, we have talked to plenty of attorneys just in conversation, right, about the scenario. And every attorney says the same thing. When their case or a case is in front of Longsworth, they don't know what judge they're going to get. And they say she has 3 personalities. And I think I just said them. You have the kind, the first day we were there, she's asked about our son's hockey, where's he play, all this, and then dismiss and set our date. And you think, okay, she's all right. Then you show up for those other ones, and she's disrespectful. She treats you like you're the problem, even though
that sounded
the
familiar.
evidence isn't pointed towards me, it's pointed towards the others. And everybody says the same thing. All attorneys say the same thing about her. So that's what I said. And we were so nervous, I didn't want to go back in front of her. So when we did mediation, we did everything in our power to make sure we didn't go back. And we gave up our original restraining order. We made a new one, but we actually took one on too, just to show we're not afraid, we're not doing nothing wrong. So we took up the same restraining order, no more pictures of each other, no more this, unless it's an actual true violation of the restraining order. Guess what?
What?
They're taking pictures of our backyard already against the
my
restraining order. So
God.
right now, my 9-year-old daughter was letting our dog out the other morning before school. She goes, Dad, came in the garage because I was in the garage already. She goes, Dad, the guy next door is in the middle of his yard taking a picture of our backyard. Remind you, I built with my trees, there's a big wall. And then their shed way over here, there's only a 4-foot gap. And he went all the way out to his yard to fit in that 4-foot gap to say we're in violation of our new agreement because our daybed swing, that remind you has been structural in the ground for 6 years, is facing towards their property. Remind you, it's way over on the other side, and it was in the middle of January. So, and they actually in this agreement said that they're going to have a tarp that goes from their shed all the way to their house, and we let them take that down for the winter because they didn't want to go outside in the cold. So my kindness backfired, and now they're using that because of what Longsworth did to us. She basically forced us to do this. And if it showed up there with no agreement, I can only imagine what she would have done. So we felt there was no other way. And I almost felt like in mediation, because we were so easy and not necessarily easy to work with, but we were willing to compromise. We just want this nightmare to be over with. And these individuals, they're in there crying, I suppose. And she said in the other room, they don't have this, they don't have that. But then yet he's out in the middle of his yard again, videoing our yard.
Are you able to get a picture of him videoing?
I could if
I would
if we can, but it's one of those things where we're getting told by Judge Longsworth this is petty. Well, I'm keep getting stalked and preyed upon, so I don't understand how this is petty. I want to be left alone, and my property shows that.
Sure.
By the trees we added, by the walls I have built, by all this stuff. And like I said, if we end up in front of her again because they violate or whatever, I'm pretty sure because I'm on this podcast, she'd probably punish us. And that's sad that I have to say that.
No, you should never have to worry about that.
To worry about that. But the way she operated in her courtroom, the last few times we were in front of her, I don't believe she cares about the law itself. As she said, our situation is petty. I don't know. My kid's safety, Your Honor, is pretty serious deal.
Well, it's like it's like Judge Burst used to say that it can feel petty to a judge, but it's not. Everybody that comes in, that stuff's very important to them.
Yeah.
What is Lucas Harvey just decided to type in 67? I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Do tell, Lucas, please tell us. Joni wants to know if the court hearings are videotaped. They do not allow recordings in the courtroom. They haven't in quite a while. I think they're taped from their end, so they can prove, but that's not something. Now, you can pay a boatload of money and get a transcript, typed, but it doesn't say it's like a text. You can't tell emotion, you can't tell tone, you can't tell facial expressions. So unfortunately, I believe that they should redo that, because it used to be that you could buy the tape. And there was a situation, we were talking about it last week. There was a situation with Teresa Brennan where she ripped into an attorney, and it was rude, and she got caught asking questions off of the other attorney while the case was like on pause or whatever, and you're not allowed to do that. And when the one attorney brought it up to her, she like unloaded on her and got it on tape, and it went everywhere. So at that point, the chief judge said no more taping. But I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. I think that could end a lot of this nonsense if you know that you can be taped.
To me, it's accountability, right?
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, the docket is her docket. She has family court now. So, which to me, if you have no temperament, then family court's the least thing you should do,
right.
Because that's all emotion. That's, we all have our money and our property, and they're in these, in the circles like out here, right? And our jobs, they're out here. Our family, our home, and our children are like right in that inner stuff. And you can't totally be a tyrant and deal with people when it comes to their families and their children and safety. That's all real close to the vest stuff. And somebody with that temperament. But like I said, I think maybe that needs to do it. What I want to know, anybody listening, if you are, or if you know of an attorney that deals with Longsworth and you're willing to come on and talk about this, man, we have questions. Like, why is this allowed? Are attorneys standing up and saying, you're not allowed to do that, Your Honor? Or is that a fear that later on they, can you have to be in front of them? Is there a way to rip into her and then permanently get yourself excused from her? I've heard that happen. So anyway, just curious here.
That's what I think. Like I said, I almost feel like, but I think my voice I have when I grew up as a kid, I was shy as all can be. But now, obviously dealing with my shady township, I have grew a mouth. And obviously owning a business for over 10 years, it's one of those things you learn to communicate. I want to get better with this kind of stuff because, I mean, the awareness that needs to be out there in these situations. More people, I see it on Facebook, but more people need to come forward that have been in front of Longsworth because I don't think she belongs on that behind that counter and that coat. She does not deserve that coat.
Well, I think that, like I said, I believe that if the recordings start again, people start acting differently when they know they're being recorded. Yeah. It's sort of like when the dash cams, you treat police officers a whole lot differently when it's not my word against hers. Yeah. His. So let's see here. We got who reviews her during hearings. Joni, the thing is they're elected. And that's the thing about when you're elected. It's like the undersheriff being in here saying he can be reviewed, he can be removed. Mike is elected, Mike Murphy. So he's the sheriff. She's elected. So there is nobody that reviews her. The only one that can remove a judge is the Judicial Tenure Commission. They can, if enough people come and complain, and there's like a million steps. And I believe people complained a lot about Teresa Brennan, but it wasn't until she absolutely broke the law in such an egregious series of manners, and we had an attorney courageous enough to go at it and not stop, and that was Tom Geiser, and that was almost, boy, get the popcorn and watch. It was absolutely just beat. So let's see, where his agreement court hearing should be videoed. Yeah, I believe it, especially since the judicial branch is 1/3 of the government. I don't know that all court hearings can't be. I just know Livingston County made the independent decision. I think it's allowed, but that within you can make that decision. Can she be impeached? Joni, that's a good question. It's not impeached, it is recalled, and I believe she could, but a judicial candidate is countywide, so the number of signatures would have to be outrageous, and you can't in the first year and you can't in the last year. Now she's already had her first year, so could a recall be started? Yeah, I think it could. And I think if enough, I mean, if something like this gets out there, but you have to have quite the message. You remember our formula for change we've talked about. If you don't have, you have to have a broad dissatisfaction. So I feel like the stuff that happened that before, and I mean, Teresa had her moments too where she was great. I mean, she was always, I mean, Jay used to say she was always very, very polite to him. But, there were a lot of people that said otherwise. So, there was when you're scared and in a courtroom, the last thing you need is a judge just treating you like, you're garbage or screaming at you or yelling at you or forbidding you to talk or taking away the protections that were already put there for, that you were comfortable with and that you agreed to. That is that roller coaster. I mean, courts are scary places, right? You don't go there unless there's a problem.
You're not hanging out there, that's for sure.
You don't get invited to come in and, bring a friend. You're there because there's an issue. You don't know how that issue is going to be resolved. It could be resolved for you. It could be resolved against you. It could change your life as far as taking your kids away or preventing you from seeing them or and then there's money involved. So that's a scary, scary place. And family court is the worst. It's the scariest. So somebody that doesn't have a temperament, somebody that doesn't have patience, somebody that, why on earth, Judge Longsworth, would you redo something Judge McGivney did? He's a great judge. He's the chief judge. He's the chief judge, and you're undoing. This is now the second person that has come forward in 2 weeks that has said she's undone everything that Judge McGivney did. This is costing people money. It's scary. I don't get it. I don't get why you would do that. Just start where it was left off and try to follow the plan. I mean, it's like
that's what we've given you.
We've given you the little coloring books with the dots where you just go from 1 to 2 to 3 to follow them. Follow the dots.
She's going through the middle. She's cheating.
The people that drew those dots weren't rookies. They were the dots were the chief judge, and he's even in the same political party as you. So it's not like you're fighting a Republican. Just knock it off. Joni, speaking of Republicans, wasn't she appointed by Whitmer? Well, as a matter of fact, she was. Yeah. So yes, and that was that's just bad. So. I know we are losing the only conservative judge we have who's retiring off the bench after many years. Suzanne Geddes was a good judge, and I worked with her a lot during Leadership Livingston. And, we need somebody that understands temperament, and we need somebody that understands the law. And, Christopher Candela was on here last week. And so anybody that didn't get to see him, go back on YouTube and look at his interview here. He did a really, really good job. So anyway, well, anything else we ought to know, Justin, about your situation? Or
no, I mean, it's really, if there's anything I could say to anybody watching or hearing or anybody that knows somebody that had Longsworth, we all got to get together. We all got to work to try to get her out because she doesn't belong there. She really doesn't. What we experienced is a nightmare turned into a bigger nightmare.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. And I've got more people that have signed up. So, by the way, Tyler, we're going to wake Tyler up over there. So, put my email in there if you will. So, if you, like Justin did and like some other people have, if you have a Longsworth story where, and I'm not talking about, she ruled against me. Okay, judges do that. But I'm talking about she absolutely upended or was rude or was just terrible or was inappropriate. We want you here. So, reach out to me right there, Chair at Livingston, Republicans.com, and we'll bring you on. We'll talk about it. I know this. I'm recruiting right now for 3 years from now. No, 5 years from now. So the campaign will probably start in 3 years. Fortunately and unfortunately, judges get 6-year terms. She just finished her first year. So I'd really hope that we don't get a second term out of her. Or, you know what? Come to think of it, Joni had the idea about recalling, and I was thinking, well, she's been there a year. It'll take a year to get this done. And then you might as well just wait. No, there's 5 years of that. Maybe a recall is what we need. You know, I never ever recalled a judge, and maybe I've got nothing else to do this year. We'll see. So,
I'll be there.
Yeah, all
I'll-
right. You're gonna pass some petitions out, okay? And that's what we need to do. So, Steve Williams says your experience with both judges mirrors theirs. He was on the show last week, and you know what? And Steve and Justin both. I've received calls and texts and emails saying exactly the same thing. We started off with McGivney. Everything was, we agreed, we disagreed, but we were treated well, so.
McGivney, stop giving away your cases.
Yeah, well.
To Longsworth.
Well, what happened was Judge Hattie retired. He became chief, but then everything, the reorganization has to happen, so.
He just took things, it seemed like, more serious. The one time I was in front of him where we actually see him when our attorney wasn't there, he just made the point this was a serious deal, and that makes you someone that invested already $6,500 into this case.
Sure.
Great. Well, when Longsworth
not to mention your stuff at home and
you might as well flush it down the toilet. It'd have been better results. Watch it go down.
Well, Joni said, I'm really sorry you and your family are experiencing
Thank
this.
You.
Steve said Judge Longsworth accused me of interrupting her as well and threatened to hold me in contempt of court if I didn't agree with her. My goodness. Mr. Frederick, I'm also sorry you and your family had such a terrible experience. Yeah, it's,
thank you.
Like I said, going to court in and of itself, you have a neighbor that you're having issues with, and that have put you in a position of concern at the very least and fear at the worst. Then having to go to court and have to deal with a tyrant over it is, what is wrong with people? Why don't they understand that? Why you get in a position of power, and in the legal community they call that black robe disease, and it's it's called black robe disease. It must happen often enough that it deserves that. Although I've seen Judge Bain, I've never seen Judge Bain or Judge McGivney do that. I've never seen them have that nonsense. So I don't know. I don't know.
I hope that person's right.
Yeah. Karen, well, Judge Bain and Judge McGivney are both judges now. We are sorry your experience. Have faith. God knows the outcome. Thanks, Karen. That's a good way to think. But yeah,
we hope karma gets some at the end of the day. But it's wearing us out. But like I said, at this point, my wife and I and our kids, we're trying to do this year. Mental health is our number one to get over all what destroyed us last year. So we're hoping. But again, like I said, we could end up back in front of Longsworth just with these clowns doing what they're doing.
Yep.
And who knows, I could be held in contempt because of this podcast. And who knows the way she operates.
Well, be sure to come back.
I will.
The chief judge in each Michigan county can decide to release the digital videos of all districts. Yes, that's true. And I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to petition Judge McGivney or write him a letter and basically say, this is crazy. You got all this going on, and we respectfully, I don't know what the process is. So I would imagine it's just writing him. So, people having trouble, if they contact, I don't want to bombard Judge McGivney with a bunch of unwarranted emails. I mean, it's not his issue, but being the chief judge, somebody's got to look into this. So, I mean, I really, truly believe that might calm a lot of this down, because when you're being watched and it can be shown to the world, This is not you start to think twice about what's going on. I think the letter should begin. Yes, I agree. I think that having some emails. I'm just, for me, Judge Geddes stated outright during her last campaign that she would be in favor of returning to the previous video access policy. I think it's a good thing. Like I said, it holds people accountable. And I guess let me say this. I don't have a vendetta against Judge Longworth. I didn't wake up one day and say, oh, you're the Whitmore appointment and I want your head. No, because you know what, Judge McGivney and Judge Bain were both appointed by Governor Whitmer. So, I don't have it that way. I don't have it that way. I just want people treated fairly, but I don't want a tyrant running loose and running unchecked. So if she's going to do that, well, then I'm just going to keep putting the stories out there. And if she wants to, just treat people like they need to be treated, or like she'd want her mother to be treated, then we, I don't have a problem. I would never I have no complaints about, or I've heard no complaints about Judge Bain or Judge McGivney. And it's not because they don't rule against people. It is because they're just nice to people. Simple as
They're
that.
respectful.
County commissioner should pass a resolution. Steve, I know that you believe that the county commissioners have a fix for that, but they don't. I think if they haven't explained to you, it's like this: the commissioners have a right to choose the overall budget. They don't have a right to tell the judges how to spend it. They don't have a right to impose any policy on the judges. That is their deal. They're very separate by law. They cannot do that. That's why even telling them how terrible she is, there's nothing they can do. Nothing. The only thing they have is the control of the budget amount, but they cannot tell them how much to spend things on. So, I don't know if they can. No, they can't, Joni. They can't do it. That's totally up to the judge. But I think Judge McGivney's reasonable enough that I think, he might do it just by people talking to him. Please come back to the podcast again. That means that's to you. What you are experiencing is important. And again, also, hopefully what you're saying will help others. I hope so too, Mark, really because I'm feeling like there's more. So I'm looking for anybody else that's having these kind of issues where it's just over the top inappropriate. And also I want an attorney on here that's either dealt with her or can explain why these things are happening or what happens or what are people's recourses. I know you can't give legal advice, but you can tell people what their options are. That would be great. So if there's an attorney out there that wants to come on and talk, boy, oh boy, we would love to have you. So, well, Justin, once again, thanks for being on here. You just, Steve, we know you disagree, but disagreeing doesn't mean it's wrong, okay? We're all right here. We've all looked into this. That's how it works. They cannot make this happen, but I don't think they need to. Let's put our energy to the place that can fix the problem instead of wasting energy where it can't. So anyway, I'm looking forward to kind of, working through this and hopefully getting people just treated right. This is just not right. That people are, like I said, going to court is scary. And the last thing you need is some tyrant terrorizing you while you're there already scared. So anyway, so Justin, please keep us informed on that. And we're going to be right back. I got some announcements to make and a couple of things to chat about. So
thank you all for your support, by the way, as well.
Yeah. Well, we're here for you. So let us know what happens. Okay. Good luck to you.
Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls' and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why?
Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights. Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm
Someone once said, where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart. What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing intentional.
Welcome to the right side. And with me now is the brand new 7th District Chair, District 3, Livingston County Commissioner, Frank Sample. So welcome, Frank. You're very active in the American Legion.
Correct.
You're very active in the VFW.
This ideology is very damaging to the students who are told if you get this surgery and make do the social transition, the medical transition, then you'll be happy and all your problems will
Yes,
solve. Learned so much.
I'll bet. That's some institutional knowledge right there. And we have, as a special guest, as I said earlier, we have Kevin Rankin with us. Welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Go Bogue. Thanks, Kelly. There are no shortage of them. We love meeting new people.
Right, yes.
It's in good shape, so that's good news.
That safeness is not afforded to every citizen. They are special.
There's a difference between men and women. There's a biological difference, and it's time for us to stand up for our girls.
He went through, and he came back with a report said there's no way Detroit can meet its obligations on the tax base.
Yes.
So is this DEI focused just on the high school, or are they talking about all
district, the entire district?
Maybe that's kind of normal. It's really not. There tends to be little fiefdoms with, different police agencies and police versus fire and fire versus EMS and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case here. So Livingston County is very fortunate.
Hey, not too long ago, in many of our lifetimes, Detroit was the 3rd largest city in America.
Oh, yeah.
3.2 million citizens.
It's been a great experience. I mean, I have no regrets about moving here.
There's an old saying that the road will get you elected, the jail will get you unelected. So, I'll give you an idea.
You have to have a reason to change for change to be enacted.
John Adams warned that the Constitution is wholly inadequate without a moral and religious people. As conservatives, we must reclaim the faith that shaped it, rooted in Jesus Christ and the Bible. To help you understand the historic Christianity that our country was founded on, check out theexaltedchrist.com, a resource website. The Exalted Christ Ministry offers resources to help you understand historic Christianity. Visit theexaltedchrist.com for articles, podcasts, and a video series exploring scripture and key historical topics. Get free resources today at www.theexaltedchrist.com. Someone once said, "Where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart." What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30-plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing intentionally.
Okay, here I am. Oh, you caught me running back, so I was getting Justin settled here. Okay, so let me catch up on comments. You're saying citizens can write letters to Judge McGivney, but commissioners can't. No, Steve, don't come in here and start an argument with me, please. I didn't say that. If I need to go back and tell you again, what I said was the commissioners can't simply write a resolution and have it obeyed. That's what I was telling you. They don't have the authority over the courts. Can they write a letter? Yes, but you didn't say they should write a letter. You said they should do a resolution. So, okay, here we go. Perhaps some more letters from citizens to Chief Judge regarding your actions will shine a light and temperament. Agreed. I think so, Joni. I think that's about the only thing to do it. But like I said, there's 2 ways I know to cure this. 3 ways. 1, put the cameras back in the courtroom. I think it will stop the, or at least, make it, her behavior be checked. 2, wait and run somebody else against her, which I can almost guarantee at this point. And 3, recall her. And like I said, thinking about it, being only 3 more years, boy, by the time we got it done, it would be easier to run somebody. No, as I said, she's got 5 years. So maybe a recall is in order. I have to look at I have to look that up. So let me get somebody let me look it up, the rules to recalling a judge, which are different. I don't even know if you can. I suppose you can because she's elected. So anyway, let's look into that. So we'll find out. So wanted to Okay, some updates. Tomorrow, just to remember, as a reminder, tomorrow we have from 6 to 8 p.m. we have candidate Doug Lloyd. We have, Attorney General candidate Doug Lloyd. We have Secretary of State candidate Anthony Ferlini and gubernatorial candidate Mike Cox right here at the Victory Center from 6 to 8. I have been asked, are they speaking or are they talking to people? I have been, and my answer is yes, both. If they want to speak to everybody, for a bit, yep, that's fine. But I'm really encouraging the one-on-one, just shake hands, meet people, hear what they have to say one-on-one. But like I said, if they want to speak, they can. The most common question I get is, will you have bunny dip? Oh yes, I will. I've made a ginormous batch, so we'll have plenty of bunny dip. So that right there is worth the come. And then Thursday, same time, same place, 6 to 8 p.m. we have gubernatorial candidate Tom Leonard, and we have Secretary of State candidate Amanda Love. So we have a couple different opportunities for people, and with our convention right around the corner, if you're a delegate and you have not met these candidates, you should, because that's who you're going to be voting on. The gubernatorial candidates, obviously, that's a primary in August, but still, you still should know who you're voting for. So this is a great opportunity to meet these candidates and ask them questions that are important to you versus, it's great to have them on here and you can text your questions and they can answer them, but it's another thing just to meet them and look them straight in the eye and say, here's what I feel is important. What do you think? And so they're all very personable people, and they're, I'm really looking forward to being here. Three more times this week. I was here Sunday all day, and that's Sunday. I want to do a big shout out and a big thank you to Candy Hovarder. I said it right this time. Candy Hovarder. She and I spent last Tuesday here with a swag wagon, as I call it. She showed up, the woman with all the swag, that the Republican T-shirts and things. She showed up, and Candy and I went through that whole thing, and we want 5 of these, 10 of these, 6 of these, whatever. We just bought shirts and hats and socks and beanies and hoodies. So we've got those for sale. We'll be having them for sale starting tomorrow. And I will also have them at the convention on the 26th. So on the 26th, we will be at Floodgate. That is for delegates. I mean, anybody can come, but it's, you have 0 action or 0 input if you are not a delegate. So this is where we elect people to go to the state convention on March 28th. And then on March 28th, those who get elected go, and we elect the primary winner for Secretary of State, for Attorney General, for Supreme Court if we ever get a candidate, and Wayne State, or the College Board of Regents. So that happens there. But to go to that, you have to get elected at the county convention. So the county convention is on Floodgate. Even if you don't want to go in your delegate, you should go to the county convention and vote, because you get to choose the people that are then going to go to vote. So if you're not a delegate, you're welcome to come watch, but you do not get to vote. However, we will have Norris Hardiman is in charge. Another big shout out to him. Norris Hardiman is in charge of our delegate recruitment program, and he will have people there signing people up to be delegates for the ballot in August. So if you want to be a delegate again, or if you want to be a delegate for the first time, just come, and we'll have notaries right there on the spot. You can fill out the affidavit, sign it, and we'll even turn it in for you. You don't have to go in. We'll take the whole package next day or the next couple days and drop it off at the county clerk for you. So you're not going to get a better deal than that anywhere else. So that is that. I want to also give a huge shout out to, first of all, Bill Reiber, who is the detail man of the month. He is absolutely making sure every box is checked, every I is dotted, and every T is crossed as it pertains to this upcoming convention. He is, on top of everything. Paul Paul Funk is stepped in. We have a brand new secretary, Rochelle Huntsman, and who is doing a great job as secretary, but she knows nothing about the convention, and it's a big, big job for the secretary. So Paul has graciously agreed. He's done it before, the secretary role, so he's graciously stepping up to sit by her and to kind of walk her through and guide her through, and guide really Bill through too, some of the stuff he knows, and me. Even though I've been and I've done conventions before, you forget things. You only do them every so often. So, so Paul's been a big help there. So I want to give a shout out to Rochelle and Paul and Bill for, kind of taking that on. Lots of Joni, I want a big shout out to Joni, who is finding the volunteers, the many volunteers. Joni, if you got an extra volunteer, we could, I know you were doing well with volunteers. You got an extra one. Candy's going to be working the swag table at the convention. So if you got an extra one to go help her, rather than have somebody standing around, somebody can go help her. I think that would be a fun thing to sell the shirts and the sweatshirts and things. So, so we have the 26th that we have that. So we have those two things. And what else? Oh, we are now settled on our Cinco de Mayo on May 5th. We are going to have it at the Cross W. We are going to have, thank you, Joni, appreciate that. Joni has now said that she'll find a volunteer for Candy. Thank you. So we are having our Cinco de Mayo party at the Cross W on May 5th. And it's going to be an outstanding Mexican buffet. We're going to have the award-winning Mexican chili that I make, and we're going to have the the whole spread, the tacos and the burritos and the rice and the beans and the nachos and the everything else. And thank you, Michelle Blondil, who has agreed to do the charcuterie board, the Mexican charcuterie board, who did such a fabulous one at our Reagan Day, and we have Mary Beth Patricus coming with Rochelle Huntsman this time. They are going to put on the bucket drawing for us. So if you got a gift that you can reach out to Mary Beth, or you can reach out to me. Let me go back up here and find my email. I'll post it again. Everybody should know it by heart by now. But we'll reach out to me if you have a gift, and I'll make sure Mary Beth and Rochelle get the information. So anybody has any ideas for Mexican events? I think we're going to do some sort of adult piñata, maybe little bottles of liquor and lottery tickets or something. I don't know. We'll find something in there. But if anybody has any ideas for games at our event, love to hear your ideas. So you can reach out to me or Joni. We're really striving to make this a good event. So anyway, I think that's it. Do we have anything else? Oh, I want a big shout out to Mike Staton for coming over here. God, that man is so wonderful. He comes over here every time we're going to have an event. He makes sure everything is clean and everything is orderly and everything is neat. And bless his heart for that, because I just don't have time. So he's terrific about that. So I do appreciate you, Mike. All right. Well, that is it. Thank you. And I appreciate Tyler. He's always here with me, and he's always in the corner. You never get to see him, but he's always here. He's always sitting in the corner, and he's the one that types things and runs things and goes and gets things. And when something goes wrong, he fixes things. So I appreciate him. All right. So anything else? No, I think that's it. So make sure you subscribe to the Facebook, the YouTube channel, because that'll help bring us some money. Then it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us a lot. And also down here, if you are not a member, you should be a member. You guys all know how to get a hold of me, so reach out to me if you have any ideas or thoughts. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.